we're not wired for this. Welcome to Dark Minds, Shattered Lives, where we expose predators, dive into the minds of evildoers, and help you and your loved ones avoid them. I'm your host, Deborah Dobbs. I'm an author and victim advocate with a reputation for rattling cages. I've had a career in victim advocacy, still working. And for many years, for about 13 years, I did crisis work. I was responding to crime scenes and death scenes. I was delivering, death notifications, accompanying police officers to do that, to parents, siblings, spouses, even children. I witnessed a lot of agony. And it was like someone described it as being like having a front row seat to human suffering. For a while, I was on call. So I had the full-time job as an advocate, victim advocate. And then I was also on call 24/7, pretty much. I'd have a break on the weekends. I'd have somebody that was covering for me on the weekends. But if they didn't respond to dispatch, then I would be the next one called. And it happened enough where it felt like I never had any time off. Back then we had pagers, and later we had cell phones, but they weren't like smartphones, and people would silence them. And so if they were on call and they silenced their phone to go to a movie or forgot to turn it back on, they'd miss it and dispatch would call me. So anyway, I was immersed in trauma, and it was taking a toll. It changed the way I viewed the world. I remember asking my boss for some help. I could feel it affecting me, and she just wasn't very responsive to that. We, like most nonprofits, you don't have a lot of staff, but also like most nonprofits, unfortunately, they tend to just burn their people out. Nonprofits aren't known for taking care of their people, even still. So I had a therapist, and he was a straight shooter. He was not the type that held back at all. He would offer ideas, and rather than, take weeks for me, like many sessions for me to figure it out, figure out my own ideas to implement, sometimes he'd just say, you need to do this. And so he said, turn off the news, just turn it off. So the last time I had the news on in my home, like through a TV or whatever, was 2008. And, it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made for my health, my mental health. But social media, we kind of fast forward many, many years. Social media is trickier. It's not so easy. And the thing about it is it's overexposing us to bad things, especially these days. And it's overstimulation. It's just stuff we're not wired for. And I don't know if you've seen this, if you've noticed a pattern where your feed will have maybe something funny, something sweet, I don't know, followed by something horrific and awful. And then followed again by something funny. Or, the worst part is something awful, something horrific. It just generates disgust, makes your heart hurt, and then it's immediately followed by something that's funny. And I just think that juxtaposition of atrocious and hilarious is weird. It's wrong. And that's what's like, our brains aren't wired for that. We as humans are not wired for that kind of ricocheting between emotions like that. I just think it's messed up. I don't know if it's done on purpose or on accident. I am not prone to giving an algorithm the benefit of the doubt. But it's just not normal. And so one of the things, and I'm bringing this up because obviously you're watching me probably on TikTok. And if you're like me, like a lot of people on TikTok, and I've noticed, I'm new to TikTok, by the way, but I've noticed that people are digging into things like the Epstein files, Gaza, the war right now, with Iran. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. So that's why I'm bringing this up today. Um, I've done some things that maybe you do this too, but I have my Instagram feed curated for good things. Like I originally got on Instagram thinking I would market my books. All right. I'm a novelist too. But I really suck at marketing. I don't like it. I wanted my feed to have things in it that trigger happy stuff, like the happy hormones and things that warm my heart or make me laugh. And I got really serious about that a few years ago when my father was facing his final, weeks and then days. And everything in my life was just so bleak. I still I run in the nonprofit that I worked at for so long, and it's stressful, and nothing stops when you have a family, crisis. You still have to go to work. The world will not even slow down a second for you. And so I needed something that would lift my mood and give me some joy. I was spending most of my days at the hospital, working from my laptop, catching up at work in the morning, and I was just exhausted. So unfortunately, like the only time I was really, for me, was in bed on my phone. So Instagram, I set up purposely to lift my mood, and I stumbled upon this guy. His name is the Kiffness, and I swear that saved me from plummeting into a depression. So I would listen to the Kiffness. I would have it blasting in the car. I think I drove people crazy with it, but man, I don't know. There was just something about people. This guy plays all these instruments, and he would just take these things and these dogs and um, cats meowing and turn it into music. And I just found it delightful. And so for the most part, I've kept my feed pretty happy. I've, funny reels involving maybe cats, babies laughing, something that reminds me that there are decent people in the world still doing decent things and making the world better, even if it's just simply by making us laugh. The other social media platforms I've had struggle doing that with. X, I'm on there for like screenwriting. God, that's an angry place. The place is just on fire all the time, and really hateful stuff being thrown around. And so I just peek in there. And the same thing with Threads. I've noticed Threads seems to be a very angry place. Every time I go, I just peek in there and I'm just back out. Facebook is where I seem to be able to get some traction on novels. And I do struggle to manage social media because I find it like stresses me out. So I have to be careful with that. And my daughter's helping me with TikTok. TikTok is where I'm trying to help people avoid dangerous personalities, just harmful people. And I'm going to use that term all the time because I love this book. And I got to give it credit. It's Dangerous Personalities, written by Joe Navarro. And he was with FBI. He was one of those profilers. And he's not a clinician. I'm not a clinician. Most people watching are not clinicians. And so you have these dangerous personalities instead of trying to say narcissistic personality disorder or I don't even know what they all are. Okay. And there's all these subcategories, but a lot of the people in the personality disorders, narcissistic, borderline, and what was once called psychopaths or psychopathy, they have very similar traits and it's confusing. So I just like dangerous personalities. And so because I've spent my career helping victims of crime recover from dangerous personalities, I'm here to try to help people avoid them. And I know that speaking of, I don't even know if you could say Jeffrey Epstein and that whole circle, of elitists, scumbags did horrible things. I think that's just beyond the dangerous personality. It's like evil. Anyway, I know a lot of people are digging into those files and I appreciate it. As a victim advocate, I mean it. I appreciate people's interest and that they're not going to stop talking about it. We're still talking about the Epstein files. We're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't plan on stopping talking about the atrocities committed by these and covered up by those elite scumbags. But I also exercise caution because, again, we're not wired for this. We've got to take breaks. And so that's what I'm here today for, to say, you got to take breaks and set limits, make room to decompress. We are overstimulated with this stuff, with everything on social media. But right now, it's like a constant barrage of just negativity, but horror, just horror. And if you're digging into that, please put limits on yourself. Demand that of yourself and for yourself, and at least kind of pepper your day with reminders that there's still beauty in the world, that there are good, decent people in the world. Go outside, bask in the sunlight a little bit, especially in the morning, if you can. Do some deep breathing throughout your day, but just take care of yourself. So enjoy a little Kiffness. Or don't. Or keep scrolling.
So I say, hey, looka, please go away, looka. I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, so I say, hey, looka, please go away, looka. So I don't stay, looka. I run away, looka. I don't know where to run, I don't know where to hide, so I don't stay, looka. I run away, looka. Please go away. Please go away. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I don't know what to do, so I say, please just go away. Please go away. Please go away.